We got a fun-filled show tonight.
I met a boy today.
It's your boy, Coach Career, the General, A60 Army.
She loving my style every time I'm.
You ain't need more money, Tito. You could have just invited 6 or 8 you down to Nationals.
I'm around.
When certain people don't get their way or they feel slighted, they feel like they have a right to call us and voice their opinion. You don't.
We locked the
Clear. I've never removed a staff to allow a staff to move up.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Now everybody's a personal trainer. We know who the originals are, but now if you look, you can find them in every town.
What up? Technical difficulties had us delayed, but we hear everybody. Just texting me like, yo, where y'all at? We here. It was technical difficulties. Hope everybody out there doing good. Stay warm. Check your heat. Make sure your pipes don't burst. All that stuff.
Close my door, cuz.
You know? It's your boy PH the Prez, Mr. Above 140, and I'm here with the co-host.
It's your boy, Coach Career, the General, 5th State Army.
The 5th State Army. Y'all gotta pay attention to the words being used. Anyways.
We'll get into that later.
Anyways. Mark, what up, Mark? Supreme in the building. It's showtime, Mark. Yo, listen. We gonna talk tonight. It might make a couple people emotional out there. But that's what we tend to do. We tend to have real conversations that make a lot of people emotional. And on the back end, a lot of people dislike us. But I guess somebody has to keep showing and cutting the mold. What's up, Laser?
What up, Lazar?
Laser, some big things happening in Pop Warner. Give us like a week. We'll have a couple more announcements, hopefully.
Oh, you know what I meant to tell you? What should have been the fourth part of the agenda was the obviously the CFB National Championship and the playoffs this weekend, the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, we got time. We can tackle that. We can tackle that. Let me be proper. We got some proper audiences out there from, I want to be proper. All right, Tito.
Let's get to it. Share
Let's get to it. There was a major discussion on this week's New England Youth Football site.
Our forum?
On our forum about, to put it in context so everybody aware. So the Route 8 boys, they were in Vegas. You had the Intruders. I think they were in Orlando or Tampa.
No, Daytona. Like they were in Daytona.
They were in Daytona. Seemed like they both did well. Obviously, they have all-star teams. So the discussion came about. JB put it out there.
Well, it's the same. We've had the
same discussion we've had 1,000 times.
I'm not going to tackle it.
Let me set it up for everybody.
Dude, I'm going to tell you like this.
Hold on. Let me set it up for everybody. He is saying, so everybody out there, some people may not know, why can't we take the best of the best at 12U and stick them on, let's say, New Haven, and allow them to bring that team down to National Pop Warner, take the best of the best at 11 and stick them on New Haven and take them down to Pop Warner, etc. I'll let you go. He ain't necessarily saying New Haven, but hypothetically.
Right. Let's just be clear. We're not talking about nobody individually. We're just trying to give you guys hypotheticals.
Yep.
But here's a hypothetical, a realistic one, because I just went through this with a brother from the forum yesterday that called. And that's because I know people are going to say that, oh, Tito's hating. Here we go. The truth of the matter is, and I'm going to say this lightly because I did the math quick with him yesterday. I just explained to him what it's going to take to do this. And we didn't even talk about, we just talked about registration fee, equipment, and I went medium with the equipment. I didn't go high, I didn't go low. I went in the middle. all right, of what it's going to take. Uniforms, referee, home field, practice field, all of that, what it's going to cost. And the number I came up with, and this is just to get you to the point where you could practice and maybe try to put a schedule together. You need at least 50 grand, 45 to 50 grand just to start it. I don't know nobody involved in this in Connecticut. Well, I do know a couple people. There's a couple people that could get to that type of money, but not that type of money for no private football team. They could get that type of money with how they get their money. You're going to take about 45, 50 grand. With that being said, that's just to get off the door. Now we got to talk about travel expenses on the families, and schedule. Not anybody, as you know, as well as I know, not everybody could get to those conversations to put the schedule together. There's only a few people here that know enough people to be able to do that, to put the schedule together. And even if you put that schedule together, there's no guarantee that these guys are going to show up and play, or you're going to show up and they're there to play. There's no guarantee with none of that, because as a person that's dipped my toe in this thing a couple times trying to do this, it becomes too shoddy dealing with these people from other places to put the game together. You're literally not talking to them for 5 days in a row. Even up until game time, you're not, if they're showing up. You're not like, that's just the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? You're not going to play. You're not going to play for weeks at a time, because that's how this thing works when you do that. The schedule is never going to be consistent. It's never going to be. Because as soon as people find out you're good, you're going to get backouts, or people may be too good, you may back out. You're not going to play consistently. We can't even – all right, so base registration. That number I came up with was based on charging people $2,000 up front for your equipment, for your uniforms, for referee fees, practice, game fees, whatever it is, because none of these organizations are going to agree with this idea. So you're getting no help from the local organizations. You can forget about that. You're not getting no equipment. Nobody's going to support your dream, because again, this is an adult's dream. These aren't kids' dreams. All right. Nobody's going to support your dream. Who are you going to play? Because if you don't know these people that me and Phil are talking about, you won't even get your phone picked up, dog. You won't even get your phone picked up, because these people only deal with people that are credible. Not any Tom, Dick, and Jerry can just pick up the phone and call, oh, I want to play Rare Breed this week. Oh, I want to play RDU this week. Oh, I want to play OG Ducks. Let's see if these cats pick up your phone. No, that's just the base to start to do this thing is $2,000. It's going to be more, because then you got to consider travel, hotel expenses, food expenses with your family. And now we're talking about taking 3 to 4 day weekends, however many times a year. It's just not realistic. You guys got to let this dream go. New England's not built for it. We can't even get kids to pay $700 to go to Florida once a year in December. Now you want to do this thing 6-7 times a year? Come on, man. There's not too many people I know that have those type of resources. And the ones I do know, we're too smart to even get involved in it. So, and I've tried it. I've tried it twice. And I don't think any of you guys know more people than me. Good luck, though. Keep trying it. Keep trying it. And it's not all time to put it together for you guys. So people go say, oh, it won't work when you guys don't get behind it. Well, I'm telling you it's not going to work. And I'll let Phil have his spiel on it now.
So, listen, when I was talking to JB, I was doing my best to try not to be a Debbie Downer. But I was trying to give him realistic, because too often in his conversation, what I was trying to get across was that he kept saying things like, we could do this in Pop Warner or in AYF, and then we could play teams from Mass and teams from here and stuff like that. What I was trying to tell him was, the people that's doing what he's talking about doing, they aren't dependent on nobody local to make it happen. That's all my point to him was. And the reason why it's wrong is he's not understanding that you can't depend on Rhode Island to give you games. That's what Tito's talking about. It's inconsistent. You cannot depend on Mass to give you games.
Hold on, before you go on, because I want to address this. Because everybody say I'm hating. I want to see them get off in the fall. If I'm hating, get off in the fall. But that's all I'm going to say.
Jerry, what up? What I'm trying to tell him was, right now, he got one of the best assembled teams in spring that I've seen in a long time, looking at the names and the group of kids he got. Best assembled spring team that I've seen, right? They got it. Utilize that team right now and then try it. You have to be the mold. You know what I'm saying? You got to be the mold, because in the absence of you being the mold, you maybe could teach me and Tito, is what I told him online. Because you're right. I don't know how it's going to happen in the fall with every program doing it. Because let's be honest, and I said this before, Hartford is not giving you their best kid. New Haven isn't giving Hartford their best kid, and Bridgeport and New Britain isn't giving their best kid to Newington, and nobody is giving up all of their best kids to go play for you in the fall while their program dropped, so you could be great, so you could amass this great travel program. It's not going to happen. Let's be real. You know the dogfights over waivers of one kid? Now you think that you can just gather up all the best kids, and after I give you my best kids, you say, Hartford, play me. Because if you scare Hartford, you duck and smoke. No, I'm not going to play you. I ain't going to give you my best kid either, but I'm not going to play you. If I did give you all of my best kids, why would I then put my mediocre kids in front of the best kids? That wouldn't even make sense. I wouldn't even be doing the right thing for the city of Hartford youth if I did that. So what was my suggestion? I actually tried to resolve it. One, start putting the schedule together right now with whomever you can. That's the first thing. Two, you already got a group of football players that can probably compete nationally. You already got parents access to them. You already got it. Why are you looking for others to do anything when you already got, not you as in JB, but the
platform.
The
structure's created.
No, what I'm saying, the Route 8 boys team that he's on already got everything in place. They got coaches, they got kids, they got a board structure. And so I was telling JB, yo, you have to, like, I said, look, quote, Tito's favorite quote, the first person through the wall get the bloodiest. Somebody just got to do it. But stop looking for help. Pop Warner's not allowing it. They're not allowing it. AYF ain't going to allow it. Look what happened with Stratford. AYF ain't allowing it either. Everybody think AYF the Wild Wild West. It's the Wild Wild West until they want to implement their rules. Then it becomes, oh, they got rules. So AYF and Pop Warner's not allowing it. So let's strip them out. Ain't no local league going to play you. Let's be real. So if you take AYF and Pop Warner out, you can't name a local team that's not in national travel that will play that team. So now that puts us in where? I said it on the thing, DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Because you already know the New York, Jersey area, your schedule show up and nobody will be at the game.
Right.
Nobody will be at the field.
They'll tell you to come
I get it. I spent thousands of dollars with them lying to me. So I'm not saying something that's mythical. I lost thousands Harper Hurricane dollars depending on them. So my point to him was, you do it. I don't believe it'll happen, but I don't want to be a hater of it. These are the things I think that could help you. So I gave him what I thought that could help, but I'll let you go because it's comments. It's definitely going to be expensive, but it's possible. You would find a lot of teams to play. You won't find a lot of teams to play you in New England. Listen, Matt.
New England's not ready.
Matt, let's be honest. Your team, forget about the All-Star. Your team right now, it's hard to find games for y'all to play. What the hell you think gonna happen when you show up with that? I'm just saying, dog. They're not gonna play you. You better be known nationally because damn sure they ain't answering. Marcus is watching the phone ring.
I said it. People.
I think Carl Taylor did it somewhat, didn't he?
Well, he did. I dipped my toe in it. I dipped my toe in it. It ain't. everybody thinks it's so easy. First of all, like I said, I don't know enough people with the bankroll to do it.
There's hundreds of teams up
north.
No,
there's not. That's not true.
Not hundreds.
That's not
there
true.
Might not even be 100 teams up north.
It's not true. There's nobody. Let's run this down real quick. Let's run this down.
What up, brother?
There's nobody in Boston that's going to play that type of team. I'm just going to put it out there. Nobody in Rhode Island is going to play that type of team. There's nobody in New Hampshire that's going to play that type of team. There's nobody even Connecticut. I know, and we're the king of everybody wants smoke till it's time to play somebody. And then all of a sudden you hear all the excuses of why certain games can't happen. There's nobody in Connecticut for you to play. You're going to have to go to deal with New York City, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. And good, like I said, good luck having somebody pick up the phone for you. Good luck.
Now, here's the thing. Y'all want to make it happen? I say do it because I'd like to see. I listen. I watch the games when all of these teams are playing. When I see a stream, like I don't know why I'm excited to watch you guys play. I love just seeing the Connecticut kids against other people, whether it's a good team or a bad team. I just like watching it. You know what I'm saying? I watch the streams when I find a GB Lifetime. Shout out to him. I watched his I shared it in the chat room, right? Great Elite, Salt City, RMG won't answer. The thing is, though, there's an ecosystem that we often talk about that y'all have to understand that when that thing get interrupted, it goes and protects itself. I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. When you take the best kids from West Haven, New Haven, Bridgeport, Hartford, New Britain, all that, and you create this other thing, then all of those entities got a duty to come together and protect themselves. You must protect the house. Now, most people going to think that it's dirty when those entities form in a line and box you out like a basketball game. But they are youth football businesses. And they have a duty to run structurally and provide their community with the best experience possible. We know in our communities, you can't lose a lot of football games and still be credible. So you take all the best players and you take them, suck them off them teams and put them over there. When that team comes calling, they can click, get off my line. Not going to answer your phone. Forget about them not answering your phone. Locally, we're not going to answer your call because you have corrupted the ecosystem. Dude, we're going to talk about how recruiting alone in Connecticut has damaged certain things that we do. We'll talk about that later, Tito. We know what we're talking about. How we had to change the things that we've done and built because of the recruiting issue. So on a larger scale, it'll be great to do, but it's only going to be great if you start it in the spring and you continue it on. You're not going to get 6 or 7 programs involved to agree. Like, how could Hartford do it? I got 6U. 6U not traveling down south. I got 9U. My 9U and 8U isn't traveling down south. So for me and my idea, put one team together, 2 teams maybe, and utilize those teams and travel around and see how it works. Hey, Cedric, do me a favor. Since you think it's 100 teams, just briefly name 20 teams that you think will play that team. 20 teams.
Oh, that will travel 2 hours.
That you think will play. Go ahead. Hey, B, I got your text. I see you out there, brother. I'm going to let you in a second. All right, Cedric Griffin, I can call them. You can. Can you? They won't play anyone. They won't. I think Carl saying they won't play anyone. He can co-sign that.
Ice is correct. Ice is correct.
Listen, this was a great discussion.
You're not turning it. Listen, 50,000 to start. 50,000 to start, and then you got to figure out your schedule, travel expenses, food expenses, and all of that. I don't know too many people that have those type of resources to commit to that type of thing. It's hard enough to commit to $150, $200 and a 10-game guaranteed schedule. And even that schedule sometimes gets iffy. You get what I'm saying? Now you're going to go based on the honor system where there's no parameters around it. Good luck. I'm not knocking nobody. Guys, get off and I want to see them get off in the fall. Stop talking about it. Let somebody try to do it. We seen when other people try to do it. You know, the pitchforks came with them.
So,
yeah, equipment. You're gonna need your own equipment. Because ain't no organization giving y'all equipment. You're gonna need uniforms. You're gonna need referee money. You need a practice field. You need a game field. Part of the luxury of being part of a local organization is some of that comes with it. When you're out on your own, let's see who's giving you guys fields.
And so that was part of me saying
nobody wants to hear it.
Ecosystem starts to protect itself, right? You're not going to be able to go into Newington and grab a field because Newington youth football going to want to box you out. You're not going to be able to go into Windsor. Windsor's going to box you out. And Bloomfield's going to try to box you out because you're taking their kids, so they want to box you out. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I think that that's what will happen. Maybe I'm wrong. The roadblocks will start to form. I was just on a phone call with a coach that was talking about how he tried to start a program in his area, and they asked him to pay $6,000 per game because they did not want him to start a program in their area. That was just yesterday.
Yo,
that's fact. 7 on 7 is
nobody thinks about the business.
Crazy. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm not, again, y'all can say it's hating or whatever. I'm a realist. I deal with numbers. I've been involved in the business of youth football now for 24 years. We just talked about this. Me and Phil been at the front of it. We know what it takes to run regular programs. Trying to do this type of operation that you guys all have this illusion of, like I said, you need 50 grand to start, and that's just to get you to the point where you got to find practice field and game fields, which I know is not happening if you're not attached to a city in Connecticut. And even if you're attached to a city in Connecticut, you may not get facilities depending on the city you're in. That's the reality of the matter. There's very few cities that give these organizations free practice fields and game fields. Now, there's a couple that do. So it's not everybody's reality is different. But once you become a private travel entity, you are no longer privy to local practice fields and things like that. You're going to have to produce paperwork. You're going to have to produce insurance. You're going to probably have to pay rental fees. You're going to have to pay light fees, bathroom fees, the whole nine. I'm not trying to hate. I'm just telling y'all the truth. Y'all got to stop dreaming.
I expected to see JB up here. He thought it was a good idea, but he don't seem to be chiming in much. I wanted to add it to the agenda because it was close. Practice fields are not easy to come by at all. And again, like I said, the ecosystem starts to protect themselves. I'm going to fight tooth and nail to keep Annie Fisher to the Hartford Hurricanes. It's not hate. It's called pro Hartford Hurricanes.
Business. All business. No.
I just learned the numbers in football this year. I'm 28, coaching since 18, and I was flabbergasted on the numbers. Yeah. Coaches will try and recruit your kids during the game.
We know. Ice, we know, cuz. We know
why the Steelers don't play at Hill House. Yeah.
And that's a local organization that's been, how long the Steelers been in existence? 30 40 years?
Yeah.
And they still, right, and they can't get access to one of the high school fields where they still playing at the woodshed over there. Like, so what do you think is going to happen when you want to show up with your bomb squad and think that people are supposed to give you a field? It don't work like that.
We're gonna move on to a subject, but who was the guy? What was the guy name? I want you to tell me the 20 teams. Don't go away,
Cedric
brother.
Griffin. I don't know who he is, but his name was Cedric Griffin.
You said that you got 100. I want you to write 20 team names. I'm going to show them on the screen. 20 team names that you believe will actually play this team.
Yo, how we gonna get into this next subject without getting into the why?
Well, let's go to.
Hold on.
We got our guests here. I think we should go to we should go on to this, and then we'll come back to it.
No, I'm not even
We got another spicy topic.
How are you going to go into this without explaining? All right, go ahead.
So, no, I know that's what we about to do. We about to explain the why right now.
All right.
All right, everybody. The CT Youth All-Star Game 860 versus 203 is no longer the All-Star Game. Part of our discussion and why we started with what we started with was the game was killed mainly because of recruiting. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've spoke to many presidents, over 15, 20, that told me they'll never send me their kid ever again. Because, and I'm going to tell y'all why. If you ask any coach that ever coached in an All-Star game, Matt's up here, y'all know this. I've said, please, please, please do me a favor. If we can respect the integrity of the game and not try to recruit the kids from where you located. So when you do that, people will stop sending you their children. Programs no longer want to work with Phil on the New England or the Connecticut Youth All-Star Game because their best players didn't go home after the All-Star Game. They went somewhere else. Now, every coach I've ever spoke to said, yo, it wasn't me. The kids just want to play for me. Now, think about that. That's not what's happening. Kids don't just go play in the All-Star Game and just say, I think I want to play for this coach because they play one game, one time a year. But we got something much better. I will say this. The competitive has heightened. If you think your son was a dog and made the All-Star team, it's going to be harder for your son to make the team because we have something better. And Carl, you could come down and be a part of this too, brother. I want to bring in somebody that you guys may know. I'm going to bring him in. Brian, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, Phil. How about you and Tito? How's it going, Tito?
What's going on, Brian?
Not much,
Brian,
man.
so tell us what you used to run out in Mass.
We used to have the Beantown Youth Football Classic. We'd have players come from across the country, players from California, Utah, throughout Georgia, especially throughout Massachusetts. Quite a few of the players from the Connecticut area, Rhode Island area also. They'd come out and participate in our event.
All right. So here's what's happening, everybody. And Jordan, it is going to be lit because you're going to be on the clock. We are now doing the New England Bowl Championship Series. It's going to be all of Massachusetts versus all of Connecticut. We are doing 6U to 13U. We're putting together one team, top to bottom, tryouts every level. The top 25 kids from each state plays each other. This year, we're starting in Connecticut. Massachusetts versus Connecticut. One team, 25 kids each level. One coaching staff from each state at each level. And we will play the best kids from Mass. We're about to really see if Massachusetts can keep up with Connecticut. The best kids from Mass, can they keep up with the best kids from Connecticut or vice versa?
I think you need to remember that too, Phil. We bring in the best from Massachusetts to go out and play against the best from Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
And we definitely are going to bring some dogs with us also.
I'm going to tell you right now, I no longer have to be neutral. I am going to be Connecticut out. I mean, hey, by the way, let me say this. We're still doing the themes. The themes are fire. And yes, y'all not going to know the themes until about another 2 or 3 months. So don't start asking. They're already done. The location this year, the game is going down in Connecticut. Y'all, Brian is setting up, and it'll be more information about who's the coaching staffs and tryouts in Mass. Same thing in Connecticut. But this is going to be, so it's kind of like what we're talking about right now, right? All of Connecticut, what it'll look like. Well, we're about to see if all of Connecticut can compete with what Mass is putting out. smoking on that mass pack as we
in regards to how we're gonna put ours together.
No 14U. Let me say one more thing, Brian.
Yeah.
Listen, the All-Star game goes by last year dates. So if you played 13 last year, you're trying out for the All-Star game 13. If you played 12U last year, you're trying out for 12U. Like Jordan was 8U, his kids would try out for 8U. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up our registration and our coaches orientation or interviews and stuff over the next couple of weeks. We want to make sure that we're definitely providing or bringing the most proven coaches and players to go out to Connecticut and represent Massachusetts. So the only way we could do it is for me and my staff to put, a nice interview process together and make sure we bring the right people. It's not going to be just spring football players. We don't want people thinking that we're bringing a spring football team. No, it will not be a spring football team.
Y'all won't win if y'all just bring a spring football team.
Yes,
So please,
no,
do better than that.
It will not happen. Head coaches need to understand right now that, yes, they are allowed to bring some of their players, only 5 players from their team, whether it's fall or spring. That is it. Everybody will get a fair opportunity to try out.
5 players from fall team. So, for instance, no more than 5 Hartford Hurricane 14U players.
Just say you're not allowed 5 off any roster in the fall. It's just the easier way to say it. You can't have more than 5 off.
You can't have more than 5 people on your fall roster.
Correct.
Off of one particular roster.
Because we don't want the Hartford Hurricanes 12U being the 12U team, right? It's too much talent in the state of Connecticut to have 7 kids from one program out of 25. Like, let's be real. It's too much talent in Connecticut. And we don't want a whole coaching staff from the Hartford Hurricanes being the whole coaching staff. This is the state on both sides. Same thing. You don't want all the Mission Hill coaches as the coaching staff.
Exactly.
This thing need to be spread out so everybody's getting an opportunity, right? Everybody's getting an opportunity to be a part of what's going on.
And it's going to be a special event, too. Special event.
Winners of last year's get first year dibs. Facts, Rodney. Hey, and so I saw a comment we need to address. They said, Rachel, we'll talk about the uniforms privately. I thought you was coaching, Rachel. That was the reason. It was a comment up here that was, Springfield. Springfield is in Mass. Springfield has to try out for Mass.
Yes.
Already decided they cannot play in Connecticut. I don't care where they play fall football. Where you live is where you play. And let me talk about it. Hey, James, you guys wanted it in Bloomfield. Holla at me. We could bring it down there. Holla at me, James. That's what the head coach said. I'm gonna hit him up. You was with him when he said it. He said, let's bring this thing to Bloomfield. And this is gonna be bigger.
Let me address this also, because I know that a couple of people from the New Hampshire area hit me up asking me, oh, Coach, you're going to do the Classic. No, I want everyone to know that we're coming strictly Massachusetts players. That's it. Unfortunately, if you live in New Hampshire, you can't be a part of it. If you live in New Jersey, because we do have some dogs that follow us from New Jersey, you cannot be a part of it. It's Massachusetts.
And Connecticut. Listen. Get 13U. Who needs to be on the plate for my boys out of Connecticut is Hurst, Mick, Carl. My boys want to eat one of their food. So I don't know what you got to do on the NIL deal check, but Hurst, Carl, or Mick, you guys need to be on the clock, bro. You guys need to be on the clock. I'm just saying, y'all need to be on the clock. I'm going to put it to you like this, B.
You put me in a position with that, but
you don't have to say nothing. This is Phil talking, okay?
Yeah.
You don't even got to engage, look down, act like you writing something down. Just act like you paying attention to something else. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, all jokes aside, I think this is going to be bigger. I think it's state against state. We agreed to move every year, so Mass will host it next year. But to continue on this year, that we're going to be interviewing and choosing head coaches on both sides. offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, line coaches, everything. Like I said, we got our themes. Game times will start at 9 a.m., starting with the 6U. We going 6U, 7U, 8U, 9U, 10U, 11U, 12U, 13U. Hour and a half day, professional refs.
What you're going to find out, Brian, is there's a lot of people that say they want to coach on these type of platforms, and then all of a sudden, it's going to get tricky to find coaches to staff these teams. Guaranteed.
Coach Tito, you know daggone well. I know all about that also well. So, you know, we are going to do take it very serious, and I'm going to make sure we definitely have the right coaches. I'm not going to just, you know, throw a coach on because he thinks that he, you know, had a nice little season last year, the year before. No, we want coaches that know what they're doing, that are putting players in the right positions to be successful. We got to go out and be competitive ourselves. And, you know, we're going to make sure that we get the right people in place.
Yeah, and this is I'm going to be honest. I'm going to take a lot of pride in this because I kind of feel like this is going to be representative, me personally, of the Connecticut Youth All-Star Game and the talent we held in that game. And we have agreed that there will be a trophy and that will remain yearly. And we're going to keep stats on who win the most games on the day. Whether Connecticut takes more games than Mass takes more games than the Connecticut. That's not the individual trophies, but that's one trophy that we will have. And the winner, either Brian in Mass or Phil in Connecticut, will take that home for the year.
I already got a spot for it right there.
Huh?
I already got a spot for it right there, Phil.
It's gonna be tough for you to pull this one off, man.
I already got a spot for it right there.
Listen, this is not going to be easy. This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, the level of talent that I've seen in my All-Star game has really been amazing.
Well, Phil, you got to remember,
I've never seen
those kids from that Connecticut area. Quite a few of them have traveled with us, done tournaments with us, have been out here at our Beantown Classic.
True.
I've got a lot of good relationships with a lot of those families. I've seen Coach Tito and his teams and his players. So especially the Hurricanes. I know what the task we have at hand, but we're going to put it together and we're going to be ready.
Phil, you doing and saying a lot. Why can't y'all teams just come together and be humble? Win or lose, y'all should support each other. Candace, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the previous conversation or the All-Star conversation? The previous conversation, my only responsibility is to root for the Hurricanes and then root for anybody else I support outside of that. That I support. Look, I support the Route 8 boys. I got players that play. I support the president. So I don't know, Candace. You give me more insight.
Yeah, definitely big up to the Route 8 boys. Definitely.
Everyone ain't built for All-Star, unfortunately. I ain't from Connecticut, but I'm loving the hoodie, fan. Would love to get some CT teams in the tournament in the summer in Ohio. There you go. Who is this? Frankie Walker. Some of the travel teams, hit them up. CT over everybody, said Rachel. CT stand up. There's a lot of CT on here, but I get it. Jordan trying to hold it down.
I feel like Jordan's the only one from Mass that's in here right now.
Yeah. What age you coaching, Brian? Shamir said. 12U.
I got to try to get Coach Phil to get on the field opposite side of me, and then we'll decide.
Oh, man. He's calling. I'm not coaching this year. Listen, I'll coach when it's held in Mass, when I just got to show up and coach. But I can't coach when it's in Connecticut.
You won't
coach when it's in Mass either. You think you will. You won't coach when it's in Mass when they say, yo, Brian, we need you over here.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be too much going on.
It's too much. It's too much when you're hosting. But you don't room for other teams from your state. But you don't root for other teams from your state. No. Hell no, I don't root for other teams from my state when the Hurricanes is alive. Am I
Hey,
supposed
Coach Phil, can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to know what age group Coach Tito's coaching for.
We haven't had our interviews yet.
Oh, okay. I see the smile on his face.
We haven't had our interviews yet.
I'm not. I was supposed to retire.
I'm gonna hold my stake down.
I was supposed to retire from the All-Star game. That was my plan, but it all depends on who you bring out the woodwork over there, and then I'll go from there.
Well, you tell me who you want, and we'll make sure we go get
Depends who comes out from the woodwork. Depends who pops out.
Hers.
Depends on who pops out.
Mick. I want Carl Taylor to come down. I know he might be in New Hampshire, but that's close enough. We'll take him. I want him to come out.
Like I said, I'm definitely gonna make the right calls.
Make the calls.
I'm gonna make the right calls, and all I could do is put the ball in their court and see where they want to go with it from there.
I'm calling them out. We need y'all to go out. He's not lying. I'm gonna stay quiet though. What happened? What y'all talking about? Nate, what you and Bree, y'all? Mass is here. Oh, Mass coming out. Jamal, yes, Jamal. Let's go. Let's go. Brian Berry is here. Mass coming out.
Yeah,
Candace,
Coach Berry's always gonna
Candace,
have my back.
Hold on, let me address Candace because she seemed to be bothered at the fact that I don't support teams from Connecticut when the Hurricanes is alive. I no, like I'm sorry, but it'll be I say Hurricanes or nothing. I don't say Hurricanes and everybody else or nothing. That's not my slogan. If that bothers you, Candace, but I know Candace, I'm sorry. Now, when we go to nationals, I support Connecticut. But until we get out of New England, I ain't supporting nobody but the Hurricanes until we lose to somebody, and then I'll support other people. But I think that's what you're supposed to do. The winners from last year coach this year. Cut it out, Bree. Cut it out. I see what y'all doing. You know it's unfair to have me. I'm a ringer. You don't root for other teams, but we always root for y'all. I don't. Candace, what program she played in Bloomfield? I went to Bloomfield games. I rooted for Bloomfield.
Yeah, we was there in Florida. You was watching them in Florida. We went over to see them in Florida.
Listen, but you never support anything. What are you talking about? Candace, ask.
Hey, Phil, I don't know where that's going, but let's get back to this because
Candace, I'm sorry if you mad. It's not, and first of all, it's not my job to support Bloomfield. It's Bloomfield fans' job to support Bloomfield. It's not Phil Bryant's job to support Bloomfield. I don't put on Bloomfield colors. I don't support Bloomfield. My job is to beat Bloomfield so they don't even make it to nationals. That's my job. I mean, am I lying? They're in our league. They're in Division I. It's my job to put teams top to bottom, that spank them and get them out there. But they spanked my 13U, and when they did, we supported them. But up until that point, I wasn't. But she's changing the conversation. Go, Brian.
Nah, I just want to make sure we stay on the right track to make sure we put together whatever it is that we're putting together. Make sure everyone is, hyped up about it, ready to rock and roll. And
I got you.
These little other things that are going on, I'm sure you guys are gonna work those out. Unless you want to keep those getting messed up, and we go down and we win the war before we even get on the field, Phil.
Huh?
I said we win it before we even get on the field. It sounds like you got a lot of internal problems.
The process in Connecticut will be.
No, listen, that's not an internal problem. Candace just talking. We don't have no internal. Listen, the All-Star game went off with 400 participants from around the state of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Last year.
We ain't gonna have
get back to the All-Star conversation, just like my boy Rodney's saying. The All-Star game went on without a hitch. All right. It's going to go on without a hitch. It's going to be supported.
Well, let's be clear. Hold on. It went on without a hitch until we let certain low-frequency individuals involved with it that ruined what we had going on.
It wasn't
not ruin it, but some of the low-frequency cats we let be involved ruined some of the credibility we had on a certain side of it. You couple that with the fact that 860 didn't get – without New Britain, Hartford, New London, there would have never been an 860 because for the 4 years we did it, it was a very much New Britain, Hartford, and New London thing. nobody else really supported it. You times that with the coaches, this is why we had to come up with this idea.
Hey,
and to be honest with you, I'm gonna tell you right now, Tito, I'm very glad that Phil and I had an opportunity to talk about this, because I've been dying to get something like this going for quite some time. And for Sam Singletary, I'm gonna shout out his name real quick, to finally get me and Phil on the phone together to be able to make this work. I'm very happy, and I look forward to it. I think it's going to be very good for both states. Like I said, the Route 8 boys, we have a lot of love and respect for that group. Phil, I've been following you guys since maybe 2006 with the Hurricanes. Coach Tito, we met a few years back, and I've been a fan of both of y'all. So, I mean, I definitely feel as though that's going to be a good relationship, that we're able to make this work and, you know, put on some real good games for the fans and have a good time.
I think it's going to be dope. I'm excited to see the kids in Mass, kids in Connecticut build that network. Brian's talking about bringing out prep schools out of Mass and his connections. Obviously, the people in Connecticut already know the prep schools connect. So we're going to try to dump all that into the game as well. So that gives a broader network to all the kids participating, to make sure that they get a bigger light on them. I like what Jordan is saying. I think we should try to make that happen. Saying that before the game go down, maybe we should do the dinner thing and get all the coaches on both sides. We come together. We have, you know, communion is what they call it in church, right? We have, like, you know, a dinner. Everybody chop it up, get together. And because I think it is going to be a dope atmosphere. I think it's going to be dope for the kids. And I think it's going to be dope for the states.
Yes.
Right. And I think it's going to catapult this thing to next year, where, you know, the first year, like the All-Star game, we started great, and then the greatness starts to get even better. And so this is the initial step to make it all that happen. Tito, did you win last year? Yup, Tito won.
What kind of question is that?
Sam is the GOAT. Shout out to Sam. Sam been MIA. Jesus Christ. This is big for the kids. They deserve it. Yeah, listen, I agree. It's going to be dope.
And I think that there's a couple of other platforms that try to put Massachusetts versus Connecticut, where a lot of times they don't even have the best players on either team. And not saying that we're going to get 100% the best players on both sides, but I feel as though that we'll definitely have a good 98% of the best players in both Massachusetts and Connecticut on the field for all age groups, and the best coaches also.
I agree. Hey, one favor, Candace, don't go nowhere, because I'm going to address all the things you're saying. We're going to have a conversation, but I don't want to mess up what we got going on right now, because this is important for both states. The Ravens broke our hearts. They broke your
just
heart.
so people understand as well, year 2 goes to Boston, right? This is going to rotate.
Yeah.
This
Correct.
is going to rotate 1 year here, 1 year there, 1 year, you know, that type of deal.
Yes.
So people understand the logistics. Don't feel like Brian got railroaded into coming to Connecticut. Year 1 is in Connecticut, year 2 is in Boston.
Exactly.
And then it's going to be, you know, everybody's going to get their piece of the pie.
So, well, with that being said, fellas, I look forward to, you know, more conversations that we have.
Definitely,
I look forward
brother.
to talking to you tomorrow, Phil.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Coach Tito, you know, I always got love for you, man. I appreciate you. And, you know, just be ready to see that trophy right there.
It ain't. Yo, Connecticut, y'all cannot let me down, man.
I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night, fellas.
Have
Hey,
a good
take it
evening,
easy,
Brian.
Brian.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, that's going to be dope, Tito. I think it's going to be a cool event. I think it's going to be dope. And more info to come. Registration is going to come soon. 95% of the registration is done. The link should be up by Monday. I'm hoping to go live with registrations on Monday. I will have to cap registrations on each level. You can't have 100 kids at 12U trying
Right.
out.
So what are we doing? 25 or 22? What are we
25
doing?
kids every level is what we said we were going to do.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? 25 kids every level. So Tito, that is the All-Star game. We'll get back to that. Let me backtrack, because Candace is talking a lot in there, and I love when people do this because she has no idea what she's talking about. We supported y'all and enjoyed ourselves at the hotel that all the kids was at. We both teams had fun, but I don't know what that means. Then she says this, Tito. You had parties at your place and didn't invite your team.
What?
She don't even know what she's talking about. Like, yo, Candace, I don't know who's feeding you information, but you need to stay on the Bloomfield side. Okay, the Hartford Hurricanes got this national things down pat, and we did. Not only did we have our team at the Airbnb that our people had, but we also bought out the buffet. It paid for every parent, every child, every aunt, uncle, niece, and every single coach in my program. So do not try to come for us or me, because, you know, people like to go, I ain't coming from the Hurricanes, I'm coming for you, because you have no idea. I didn't have no party at the Airbnb. Tito can tell you because he was there with me almost every day. We watched the West Haven game, I think the midweek game there, and we was there other days when we went down and went over.
We watched every Connecticut team play.
So
every Connecticut to the point where there was a couple teams I didn't want to see play. He's like, nah, bro, you got to be the bigger person and come watch the game.
Right.
And
like,
I still went.
I don't understand.
I still went against my own wishes because I ain't with the CT over everybody's shit.
Every game that Bloomfield played. I don't know. She can't troll me. She can't troll me. But I don't mind answering the questions because, see, I'm transparent. I don't care if you like my answers or not, but I'll tell you, it's not my job to support Bloomfield.
I even went to go see the Junior Canes play there,
but it's not my job to support Bloomfield. It's not Bloomfield's job to support the Hartford Hurricanes. Did Candace come to the Hartford Hurricanes national championship game? I didn't see her there. I ain't saying she didn't support us. So that's not the case. Dennis could tell you what we did. This is a parent, Candace, right here on 12U who played in the national championship that can tell you what we did. And the reason the 12U didn't come have dinner because Jerry cooked every damn day. Jerry cooked massive meals. So they was eating at Jerry. But Anne-Marie
they was at the buffet that day.
They was at the buffet, but remember, I invited them also to the house. But the 9U came, but Jerry had cooked for them. Anyway, off that, Tito, last topic. You ready, Tito? Let's go. So the last topic is a topic, Tito, I think that we have
talk about it all the time. Like obviously
we talk about it all the time.
We talk about it all the time.
I think that it's important that we address it. Right. Hold on. Let me put it up real quick. Boom. All right. And it's this. The streets versus youth football, and do they cross paths? Now I wanted this up, so I'm gonna say this. Thank you, Dennis. Respect. It's okay when the fall comes, guys, for your team to wear the Pooh Shiesty mask, for you to have all the hardest music in the world. I recognize football is an emotional game, and of course, in football, you should definitely get into a mode that you need to get into to play the game. Coaches and kids, it's an emotional game. I saw Nick Saban come out with the one and they said the words, right? I tell you that story all the time. But we got to remember that it's not the streets. And it ain't the same thing as the dude on the block with the Pooh Shiesty mask, holding it down and ready to bury somebody if they cross the wrong path. I think that I'm at a place where I understand that emotionally and mentally, there's a place that coaches need to get to play this game. And however they got to get there, I am 100% okay with it. I'm okay with masks. I'm okay with the chants. I'm okay with it, all of that. As long as we can make the discrepancy or where that line cross. Because I think the line get blurred. I think too often times we have 40 and 50-year-old men that forget that they ain't ready to risk it all. But they act like it in a moment, like they're ready to risk it all. And they ain't really ready to risk it all, bro. And so for me, that line is not a thin line. And lastly, I'm going to say this. When hypothetically, y'all, don't start chopping us up. if two guys go, and I ain't even gonna say it, if two guys go, Tito, and commit a robbery, and they get away, they went to commit robbery and got away. One get caught, one starts to tell on the other person. That is considered snitching. They both agreed to do this crime.
Right, that's absolute snitching.
It's not snitching if you tell that a team is cheating in youth football. That is not called snitching. Like, the rules of the streets don't apply to rules of youth football. We have to this is how we make our community better as all of us. This is how you make it better. If I tell that somebody cheated me, you can't then go online and say, yo, you snitching. That's not snitching. Snitching didn't come up because I was supposed to allow you to cheat my daughter in cheerleading, dog. That's not what snitching is. And so we have to keep the streets and youth football separate, but I understand that they intertwine somewhat. I'll let you go.
You know I got a problem with it all. So, I mean, I've said it 1,000 times. I mean, first of all, when I see shiesties, period, when I see the shiesties, it could be in the regular world. And I've told you this many times. When dudes come up on me wearing shiesties, I'll be ready to slug them straight up because I don't know what your intentions are. You wearing a mask and shit. Like, my era of people, we didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? If you so tough, show your face in the street type shit. I don't think there's a place for it in what we do. I don't think all the metaphors and acronyms we come up with for these teams, I don't think there's a place for that, because I think that's all a reflection of what goes on in your neighborhoods or on your blocks, because there's really no more gangs now. Like has happened in Connecticut, it's more so you rep your block. Whatever block you live on, like every block is its own gang type thing. So I just think that there's no place for that in what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish here with developing kids to try to get to the next level, or even just keep them off the streets and become better young men. I don't see how that's helping our cause when we got adults. Again, this is about adults. This ain't about kids. When we got adults living their dreams and illusions and pushing it on kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's 2025. You know, I mean, I even had one of my closest cats to me. We in our 40s. Where you heard me giving it to him the other night when he showed up with the shiesty. I'm like, what do you, dude? I told him, don't you ever come out with me like that again, ever in your life. We don't wear shiesties in New Britain. That's not our thing. You know what I mean? That's not our thing. That's a somewhere else thing. That's a Memphis thing, right? Because Pooh Shiesty from Tennessee somewhere over there. That's their thing. That's not our thing over here. The shit corny. When I see 40-year-old men wearing it, it bothers me. It does, because to me, that's the wrong message to be sending kids. It's the wrong message. It's the wrong. And what are we doing here? What are we doing here when I see 40, 30, 50-year-old men wearing shiesties? What are we doing? What are you going to go stick up the liquor store? What are we doing? I just don't think there's a place for it. There's not a place for it. Like you said with the snitching, some of these rules don't apply to youth football. Some of these codes that we all live by, I swear we live by, don't apply to youth football when there's kids involved and there's rules we're supposed to be following. We're supposed to be setting a better example, not a worse one.
Listen, I work. I got a job. Do a couple things on the side. I ain't into nothing illegal.
You have businesses on the side, because that sounded.
Well, yeah. My bad. They're going to say, yeah, right. I got legitimate businesses on the side,
on the books, on the books.
So, Phil, if I'm not coaching, I need a VIP pass. I thought you, Bree, and Shamir was coaching. 12, 13U. Y'all backing out. Don't get scared because mass on y'all now. No, man. Listen, it's just that I go at it a little differently. I'm older and I go at it a little differently. I'm okay with all the smoke. I actually look, if the kids like it, I'm for it. Like I love the look. I mean, I personally has never been into the pump up thing. Like I've never pumped up a team and all of that. But I actually kind of think it's kind of dope. As long as the other team isn't scared. It's not fun when you're doing it to a team that's not worth doing it to. But I love it when teams come into Hartford doing it. Because we don't care, Tito. Like, we don't care. Like, I love when a team come into Hartford and they act acting crazy and they masked up or all it not really masked, like like when they come in with the the Jason mask, right? I like all that. I love it because I know my team's coming down the hill. You're gonna see smoke. I think one year Mike had him jumping the fence, like it was crazy. The tunnel right there. So I'm with all of it as long as we understand that it's in context, because the truth of the matter is it's about the kid. You know what I'm saying? It's about the kids. And if the kids like it, then I'm for it. You know what I'm saying? It does. It makes the energy better. I mean, everybody got their cameras out. It makes a movie out of it. So I'm with all I'm with even look, I've been involved in some situations where my team did a little bit more and we lost. I remember, I tell that story all the time. Brick City had won a national championship game and we went to play them the following year at 14U, and we jumped off the bus, ran on the field and ran up in their face, and everybody thought we was going to fight. We wasn't, because, I knew Germ and I knew Nas, so it was nothing. But I knew we had to carry our energy into the middle of the hood in New Jersey like that. So we carried it like that. It was all safe. It was all fun. It was all love. And so for me, I don't mind it. I don't know how to do it. I'm terrible at pumping up a team. Like, it's just not my thing. I don't know how to. I'm not great at it. I don't know the latest chants, but I am cool with the swag of the game. And carrying that into
the swag of the game, even that, there's a way to do it. There's a way. There's an etiquette to coaching. We just saw it in Florida, bro.
Right, but that's not. Here's the problem. That's not the etiquette to coaching. It's not necessarily the coach that has to do that, dog. Like, it doesn't have to be the head coach.
Bro, we've seen whole staffs. We've seen whole staffs do this. What are we talking about?
We have.
What are we talking
look,
about?
again,
that wasn't happening 10 years ago. That wasn't happening 10 years ago.
You couldn't do it, Tito.
Right. So
let's be honest. First of all, it wasn't a lot of minorities at the top of these organizations.
Was our space a better place 10 years ago?
It wasn't a lot of minorities at the top of these organizations.
Was our space a better place 10 years ago?
It would better.
Was it a better? It was a better space. Stop trying to be political.
I'm about to tell you.
A better space.
Let me say what I'm gonna say. In the sense of the number of football teams, the etiquette, and all of that, maybe. But we're more diverse today than we was 10 years ago. Yeah. And I'm for diversity. So I wouldn't want to go back 10 years ago because I like seeing minorities in more positions of power at all facets of boards. So that's the only thing.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, we're more involved now.
And right, that's the only thing. Other than that.
Okay. And look at some of the problems currently.
Again, what did I say? You didn't listen to what I said before. Okay. I said back then it wasn't a lot of minorities that would have allowed us to do it. We would have done that, and we would have been booted out the community. Let's be real, Tito. We CTYFL. You think you could do that back then?
You couldn't even do it. You couldn't do it in AYF at the time. You couldn't do it in Pop Warner. You still can't do it in Pop Warner.
What up?
At the time, what up, KR? You still can't. I mean, I don't know. I think that we're.
Listen, I think it's clear. It's really not your forte. It's really not what you bring to the table as far as your team. I get it. It's really not what I bring to the table as far as a team. But I also understand that there is a community of youth that want it, a community of coaches that want it, and all I'm saying is, it should be done right if you want it. That's all I'm saying.
Setting examples. We're supposed to be setting examples and trying.
They're doing it in college, though, Tito. They're running down.
They're not running. You don't see no coaches running that way. You don't see no coaches out there wearing.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the chance. I'm not the Pooh Shiesty mask. Like I have pushed that off to the side. Like I addressed that. I'm talking about the chance and the we ready. All of that stuff is
that's different. But that's.
But Tito, the turnover chains and throwing it up in the air as soon as you get the interception, running up to the camera.
I don't even have a problem with that per se.
All of that is from college.
I don't even have a problem with that per se, as long as you keep it about your team. I don't have a problem with that. As long as it's about your team, something you're doing on your sideline. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
What I got a problem with is adults carrying on like they're a gang and shit like that.
Yeah. Of course, I agree with you unequivocally. Yeah, that's the corny part. But as far
bringing
as
the gang culture, maybe we should say it better. We've tried to. There's people trying to bring in the gang culture into youth sports.
Well, that's not going to work.
Right, but I'm just saying that we've seen it happen. We haven't just seen it here. We've seen it other places.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen it other places where the gang culture has definitely affected our space. What you reading over there, dog?
No, nothing. But yeah. I mean, we look. We don't have to beat a dead horse. I just when it comes to this space, I think we're in a good place. I think youth football is in a good place in Connecticut. I think I mean I'm in Pop Warner, so I think Pop Warner's in a good space in Connecticut. I don't really know about the other leagues and where they stand, right? My team came off the bus at Nationals chanting at the competition. Energy is crazy. It gives them confidence and hype them up. I agree. I agree. I think that, again, football's an emotional sport. You can't box that up and hold it and say, don't show the emotion that you need to.
Again, that's not what I'm talking about.
No. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, bro.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, Larry Myers made a statement. So I'm saying I agree. Ty, what up? Tito is right, and coaches act like they own these kids, and if they play for different organizations, it's a problem. I don't think that people feel like they play for different organizations is a problem. I think there's an etiquette to kids even going to another organization, Tito. How they go to another organization. I'm gonna give you an example. If a kid plays for me, and the kid don't think I'm developing him, and the kid wants to go to Tito, a kid could go to Tito. But if a kid plays for me, and Tito start calling all of my kids on my roster saying, yo, come play for me, I could offer you training, and I'll throw you a pair of cleats, and I got some gloves, that's a problem, and that's corny, and no, that kid shouldn't go there. So I think it depends on how a kid goes to an organization. Too often we speak in the general terms of, oh, you mad that a kid leaving? Mad that a kid leaving? Nah, not necessarily. But I think coaches calling kids and playing on a kid emotion, isn't that what, look, I've said it a long time. That's what people that wants to harm children do. They do the same tactic. They call up a kid. Oh, I can't believe you're going to treat me like that. I can't believe you're going to leave me. That's playing on kids' emotions. And as adults, we should never do that. We should never be in kids' inboxes. I think Tito and I have spoke on that as well. Tito putting on a shiesty mask.
Crazy. I'll never wear one of them shits. Even in my day, I wouldn't wear one of them shits. I'm coming straight. You're going to know who it is, what time it is. Like, it's never. I would never wear one of them. It looks corny. It looks terrible. Makes you look
there's
dirty.
A way to do that. Listen, there's a way to be pumped up. I think I agree with Tyrell. I think every staff should have a coach that get the kids lit, that get them moving, that get them like that get that emotion, that adrenaline running. And if you can't play the game like that, I don't know how you win a national championship. The emotion of the game, you could see it spill out when you saw Naples and West. Like you could see even the teams that lost, you could see when they ran out that you can see the emotion of the game. Now they may not have been able to let it out how they want, and that's okay. It's okay to want to wild out, but be in a professional environment and know that you can.
You got to keep your emotions in check, bro. Too many times, and we talk about this with adults, that the lack of emotional intelligence, like you got to learn how to channel it, and it's a fine balance, in my opinion. You get too high, sometimes it doesn't help you to play football because you're pressing. You got to stay somewhere in the middle. You can't be low neither. You got to stay in the middle, and you got to be able to control your environment. And that's not easy for kids. So when you go get them all emotionally charged up, they go out there and things don't go as planned. You watch them crash real quick too. We've seen that happen 1,000 times. Where they leave the energy in the chant. They left the energy in the chant.
Football can go 1,000 ways, bro. And whatever the football gods have for you, at that moment, that's exactly what is going to happen. But to be honest, at the end of the day, you don't. It's teams that'll have all the etiquette in the world and get beat by 50 from the team that get pumped up, and it's teams that get pumped up that'll get beat by 50 from a team that just walk out the tunnel and never even jump up and down. And so, I think that I don't think that always bear who's going to win, but I do think that I think that if you're a coach and you locked into your team, you know the right amount of chanting and the right amount of passion that your team got to have. I think that that's some kids like Jacob Lafayette need help with that energy and focus before the game. And again,
Jacob
Dennis,
does
right.
just fine just approaching it how he approaches it. He ain't got to do it.
No. I think Dennis is right that a coach would know what he needs to do to get his team focused. Every team I've ever coached, like I told, I'll give you a story, Tito. You heard this story, and I know Mike Milner's watching. I was in Florida one time, and I'm walking in, and I used to hashtag, what was my hashtag back then?
Talk to me nicely. Talk to me nicely.
Mr. Talk to me nicely. I used to hashtag it all the time. So when Hartford Hurricanes made National Pop Warner and we're about to play California, I'm walking behind the stance, and the whole stance from Cali start going, Mr. Talk to me nicely. I'm not even coaching, bro. I'm just the president. Steph was coaching with Mike. So we're about to play Pompano Beach, rephrase Florida. So Mike decides he wants to run in Pompano Beach's face and start clapping. Now, Pompano Beach was really about that life. I looked at our kid's face, Tito. Mike, I told Mike about this. Our kids did not want to run over and clap in those kids' faces. But when Mike did it, they had no choice. And this is what bothered me.
Wasn't a great idea.
Kids started jumping up and down and saying and pointing at certain kids on our team that was scared. See, Mike is in the comment right here, y'all. He know this true. They started saying, oh, he's scared. Look at him. He's scared. And some of our kids was like, looking back. Now, we're about to take the field in 5 minutes and play these guys. And some of them was looking at Coach Mike. Coach Mike like, yeah, we about that life. And some of our kids was like, we about that life? Y'all think we about that life? And it was, and I went to Mike. I said, Mike, I don't think you should have did that, right? He was like, nah, bro. They was sitting there clapping. I was like, bro, look at our kids. They don't really want to be clapping in these kids' faces. These kids was, and they end up beating us 38-0 in the first half, and it went downhill from there. But
Mike walked them off a cliff. Normal Mike Milner stuff. Walked right on, jumped out the window.
I told Mike,
jumped out the window.
You needed to check with your team to see if they really like that before you would have did that. Them kids did not want to do that because the Florida kids was really standing at the fence looking like, oh, which one looks scared? And Mike brought the whole team up. They started going, oh, you scared? He's scared. He's scared. And this is what they were saying to me. Oh, he's scared. Look at him. Look at his face. Oh, he don't even want to clap. Look at him. And now I'm getting mad. I'm like, clap, 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 hard clap. Because now I feel bad for our kids because I started looking at them too like, dang, you do look scared. It was just a nightmare. And by the time they took the field, Pompano, hike, touchdown. I was like, Mike, the kids wasn't too old. Get out of here. They beat the fire. CME. The Coach Mike experience.
That's the Coach Mike's experience.
They weren't ready for
jumped out the window. Jumped out the window. Got the Hurricanes of the world.
You have to know your children. You got to know your kids. You got to know your kids because if you go out there and you start, if your emotion is way up on 1,000 and your kids don't play like that, you know, it's over. We was hyped from the Dorchester when hype don't carry over, bro. That's not how it works. You don't get to beat one team and use that hype against that team. Yeah, it's a whole new team. Y'all got to come off that high, hit the reset button.
New set of problems.
And so, yeah, you know, I think that, yeah. So that's my story of know the type of team you got and what y'all really can get out of it. Don't just assume, oh, I did this 2 years ago and I know it worked, so I'm gonna do it with this team. New kids, new emotion, new experiences, new all of that. And yeah. So Tito, that's all I got, brother. That's the podcast.
Let's just touch on like I said, Notre Dame was a bunch of pretenders, and Ohio State was too much for them.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. We knew Notre Dame couldn't stop the run when they were playing Penn State. It was clear to us.
Their defense was better than their offense, though. Like their defense.
So Penn State quarterback cannot throw the ball. Like he cannot be the quarterback next year if they want to win. Like he should go in the. You know how they should use him? The same way Texas was trying to use Manning.
Arch Manning. Well, Riley Leonard's not a thrower neither. He proved the other night he couldn't make big throws like when it was necessary. Riley Leonard from Notre Dame, he didn't look good in the pocket.
No, that's what I'm saying. He can't throw.
He can't throw.
The Ohio State quarterback actually looked like the only quarterback playing in the game. The guy from Notre Dame did not look like he knew how to complete a pass. He just did not know what he was doing.
I mean, he had people.
He was overthrowing dudes that was wide open on crossing routes and everything. And so it was an ugly. I'm gonna be honest. At times, I felt bad for him because I'm like, yo, this kid.
The national championship game wasn't one of the best ones we've ever seen. Like
it was a good game, though. It wasn't. It was close until
we've seen two better teams. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
With the 12 teams, this wasn't a great year for college football quarterbacks.
No,
I feel like the best teams. I mean, obviously, due to the numbers, the 12 fell. How the 12 fell. I think they could have had better teams in it to make for better games, or maybe it was just a down year for college football.
Well, look at the quarterbacks, Tito. I said this to you. Out of all the college playoff quarterbacks, I don't think none are NFL ready.
No.
Shador's and
probably
Miami guy, the only two that's even projected to go, and neither one was in the college playoff.
And I'm not even convinced Shador's an NFL quarterback. That's just my opinion. People gonna say I'm hating, whatever. I'm not convinced he's.
Give me why. His numbers say he is. What else do you need?
Because when he played against
you don't like Deion, so you do got a little chip. Like we should put that out there that you don't like them as a group and what they stand for. In the game, you think they're too flashy and they're too boisterous for you. So we got to predicate it with that you come with a chip.
That's how you always try to make it. I'm telling you, we've seen good college quarterbacks. Is he as good as Daniels from the Commanders?
See, don't try to play my.
No. I'm just saying.
Yo, Daniels is in the NFC Championship.
Is he of that caliber? Is he of that caliber type of player? Is he of that caliber type of player? Answer the question. So don't dance around it. Answer the question. Is he that type of player?
If that's your standard, there has not been a college quarterback in the last 10 years that has been that caliber.
Well, Lamar was that good his first year.
Lamar? Where did Lamar bring them the first year?
RG3
where did Lamar? RJ3 did not bring us to the NFC Championship.
Y'all went to the playoffs his first year, didn't you?
We're in the NFC. We're a game away from the Super Bowl.
No,
this kid
that's what I'm saying. Is Shador as good as Jamar? I mean, as Daniel?
His numbers say he is. That's all we can go off of. Men like women like numbers don't. Like what else do he need to do, Tito? That's what I'm asking you. Right. He can run. He can throw. He can actually throw the ball. You do agree with that at least?
He makes some throws. He also
name one of the college name a college quarterback that was in a college playoff better than him.
Nobody. That's what I said. It was a down year for quarterbacks.
So because they're all sorry, he has to.
I didn't say they're all sorry. Just was there any quarterback you seen in the college playoff that was decent?
I think Ohio State quarterback was
no, he's good. Yeah, and I mean, he also got how many? He got the Smith kid out wide, the runner. They got a bunch of NFL players, dog.
He can't
they got
for that.
No, I'm not faulting him. I'm just saying
dog. Shador got the numbers, the best. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how else are we supposed to rate the quarterbacks if we?
I said he's the best quarterback coming out this year, right? How much more you want me to give him?
He's not.
I said I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. That's a different conversation.
Like, let's look at him versus Daniels. Now, look, I'm a Washington fan. I am not putting Daniels down. You got this thing where you're going to throw Daniels out there because you're going to attack my team.
Saying, and look, and Daniels didn't even have like a decorated college career. He had a good year.
Which means you wouldn't have thought Daniels was good a year ago.
No, I'm just saying he wasn't the most decorated guy. Obviously, this kid could play in NFL. Look what he's doing.
Did you think a year ago Daniels was as good as?
No, at LSU, I knew he was different. I knew he was a different dude at LSU. I could just see it. You could see he kept them in a lot of games they shouldn't have been in last year.
Okay, let's compare them. This is gonna be good. I ain't saying Shador is better. I don't know.
Shador also has had the knack to lose the big game, HBCU or over here. Can't win the big game.
Yeah,
Neither can Dion.
It's all him, huh? How much did his team give up on defense?
I'm just saying.
Because I don't remember him playing defense.
I'm just saying. Everybody was so hyped about this situation. Every time they got to play a big game, even in the HBCU, they wound up blowing it. They lost to North Carolina, the maroon and gray team, the one that where Mick went to college. They lost to them before he went to Colorado in the championship over there in the Celebration Bowl. The first year they was at Jackson, they lost. Since he came to Colorado, anytime they had to step up and play the better teams, they lost. They went to the bowl game and got trounced. I mean, how much more you need to see?
How many points did his team give up?
Listen, we can say what you want. I said
I'm just saying,
the best quarterback coming out this year.
I guess Lamar Jackson should take responsibility for that loss.
Oh, no. That's
no. Wait. No. Now you want to change. Don't change the standard between him. You keep the same standard.
What does Lamar Jackson have to do with this conversation?
Because you're blaming the quarterback because the defense can't score. So why not blame the quarterback because the wide receiver can't catch?
You blaming Lamar Jackson for Andrews dropping that ball on the 2-yard line or whatever on the 1-yard line?
I don't. Nor do I blame Shador for the defense giving up 38 points. That's my point. But listen, let's go through this. I'm gonna just take the last year. Daniels had 40 touchdowns his senior year. Shador had 37.
Okay, close.
Interceptions, Daniels had 4. Shador had 10.
Well,
what else we could look at?
Mind you, Daniels played in the SEC.
Daniels had 3,812 yards his last season. Shador had an extra 1,000 yards more than that.
Oh, this year? 4,000, whatever.
He had 4134. Oh, so not an extra
300
more
yards. Yeah.
And so I only say that to say he may not be as good.
How many touchdown passes? 37, 36.
37 touchdowns.
Completion percentage. Give me the
QBR of 75.
What was Daniel? That's Shador's QBR?
That's Shador's QBR. Yes.
What was Daniel's QBR last year?
This don't let me go see it. This is I'm looking at Sports Reference for Daniels and ESPN for Shador because Daniels didn't come up to ESPN. That's all. But look, here's my point, bro. Oh, Daniels QBR was 70.5. Matter of fact, let's show him because I know people think I'm capping. Now look, I'm a dance. See, if we lose, it's because of this conversation, bro. Here we go. Oh no, this is him for Washington.
No, that's his NFL.
Never mind. Anyways, my point is Shador isn't that far off numbers wise, and so all you can do with a quarterback is go off of numbers. Shador's not messing with Daniels. That's not what we're saying, Ty. That's not what I'm saying.
That's the conversation.
I'm just want to be clear. You can go further than Daniels. Penix,
oh, absolutely. I agree.
Last year's draft are better. Listen, all of them are better than this year's draft.
Right.
But I don't think they're better than Daniels. You think Penix is better than Daniels?
You mean Shador?
No, Daniels.
He's saying that all these guys are better than Shador this year, basically. So the guys that came out last year is what he's trying to say.
Oh,
he's better than all the quarterbacks coming out this year.
Until Sanders bring any NFL team to the conference champion, then we could talk. I agree. I'm not comparing them. Big Ten stats. We could say that. You need a strong defense to win games, 100%. It's going to be Arch Manning show the next 2 years.
Wrap this up,
Texas, they're
I
going to lose.
also believe that this year's NFL playoffs have been a joy to watch, more so than even the college playoff. Like the NFL playoffs have been, the parity has been great. And
it's been as good as it's been better than college.
It's been better because of the quarterback play.
Yeah.
It's been better because of the quarterback play.
College was really down quarterback wise.
Right. Quarterback wise. And NFL's been a pleasure to watch because the quarterback plays much better. I mean, obviously their pros is going to be better, but I just think the game's been that much more exciting because of the parity and the ability of watching all however many games that was we watched in the college playoff, people not being able to make throws downfield and all that. When you watch the NFL, you see these guys do it, and it makes for better football. So I think the NFL playoffs this year have been a joy to watch.
Let me say this. A great discussion amongst all of the community one time, going in a couple weeks should be, why do we think we ran into a rut this year and where quarterbacking is so bad? What happened previously? Is this the COVID era hitting us 4 years later?
It's a down year.
Like, no, but it's not a little bit, Tito. You can't name 3 quarterbacks you would want to draft. I don't know if that ever.
I'm gonna tell you a part of it. I'm gonna tell you a part of the problem is when these cats don't play under center no more. So these quarterbacks ain't learning the skills and traits of what it takes to play quarterback.
Elaborate on that.
There's just skills that we're learning how to take an under center exchange. There's things you have to concentrate on. For instance, 3-step drop, 5-step drop, 7-step drop. Those are all things that once you're in the gun, you're not learning it no more. Footwork on pivoting and handing off correctly and booting out the right way, trying to create some play action opportunities. They don't learn that no more in the college game. Everything is now with the clap, catch, ride, and the skills.
They're not even running that in a lot of the college games either.
Watch NFL. You see them under center all.
I agree. I watched the
NFL, dog.
I agree. Even though my Commanders almost blew it on the 1 yard line.
These are skills that are transferable. Like learning how to play under center is a technique like every other thing in football. You have to practice it to be efficient at it. You can't do it when everything is played with the game in front of you. When you're in the shotgun, the advantage, quote unquote, supposed to be is that you're a little further back, you get to see more. But with everything they're doing now with RPOs and all that, that's not the case.
It's hard on a quarterback when your wide receivers are
in the transfer portal every year.
Yeah, well, that's kind of true too.
Well, that's just the whole college game.
In the gun now. Everybody's in the gun.
Yeah, but everybody's in the gun. You watching NFL, it's still 60-40. I bet you they're in under center just as much as they're in the gun in the NFL.
No, nowhere near. No, people. Hell, you don't see a team on first down under center unless you have Derek. Lamar, look, I will put to you that Lamar and them lost because they would not at the 2. They ran from the 40-yard line, gave Derrick Henry the ball 3 times and scored. Got on the 2-yard line and got into a spread. I know he dropped the pass, but could you tell me why Derrick Henry didn't get the ball the last 2-point conversions?
Why didn't Marshawn Lynch get the ball against the Patriots that year?
Like I just don't understand. Like, and I get it. It was a great call. It was a good pass. It went to probably one of the best tight ends in the NFL. So all of that stuff, it was the right call at the wrong time. Maybe most successful NFL teams are in the gun and have a lot of pre-snap motions. Yeah, that's true. Listen, the NFL is hard to compare to college because this year made me understand the games are the gap between college and NFL is
it's huge. It's huge.
That a team like Notre Dame, a team that's being headed by a quarterback that either have the skill traits of Notre Dame would probably go 0-18 or 0-17 in the NFL. You cannot have a quarterback play that bad and still be successful in NFL. You can't. The quarterback position will 100% drive you. The Washington Commanders, I'm about to say, right? The Washington Commanders is 100% in position because of Jaden Daniels. 100%. Like any other position, we needed him. But if you take him out, we aren't where we at because the quarterback position drive. Now, in college, it let me know watching Notre Dame, you cannot throw. You can be terrible at throwing and still beat the upper echelon of college football. That doesn't translate.
Well, when you got a strong, that holds true at any level of football. If you got a strong run game and can play defense, you should be in games. I mean, and that's pretty much what they did because their quarterback.
That alone won't make it in the NFL team.
No, it won't. Hell no. We talk
but so I was saying that's the gap, right?
No,
that
absolutely.
gap. I didn't think the gap, and it was the quarterback bad play that let me know. Dang, the NFL is way better.
Like I said, and I'm not. Listen, I always follow the NFL. Though I don't want to say it like that, but I am that much more of a college fan, and I was a little disappointed in the college playoffs this year. That's all.
Yo, y'all gonna stop hating on the Commanders.
Oh.
We upset the Birds. Oh, y'all know a video coming. Check my Facebook page, baby. Saturday, when we play Saturday? We play Saturday night, right? Or Sunday. Sunday at 3 p.m. Check my Facebook page at 6. Because
we doing another event over there. No,
I don't want to be around nobody. Last time I sat with you when my team was played, I walked out the restaurant, I jumped in my car, I slammed my keys, and I went home. I'm not doing that again. I'm going to be in the privacy of my own home. I gotta focus so that when things ain't going right, I turn the TV and I watch I watch something else because I can't, like when we kicking a field goal, I gotta
he
turn
is a sore loser like that. This cat left it, yeah. When Alabama lost to Michigan, this dude walked out and didn't say bye to nobody, nothing, just left the venue.
66%. So maybe it was closer to you than I thought 70, but
no, it's close. It's close. You have to be able to play quarterback in NFL. You're gonna have to learn how to play on the center, because down in the money situations that we were complaining about with college, going down there to line up 6 yards deep to run one, they're not doing that in NFL. They're gonna bring 3 tight ends out there,
3 tight ends, and they call it number 98 is available.
And that's 2 tight ends with a fullback. So basically 4 tight ends.
Yep, you're right.
With the fullback.
Yep, and you know what? That's the old Tom Brady's playbook. When all those championships he won,
Tom
Brady would in the 3. He would make a lineman eligible. He would fake sometimes, pull it, and that lineman is wide open in the back of the end zone. And that fear of that lineman in the back of the end zone. Look, I don't understand why Lamar and them, like, they got Derrick Henry, bro. What, you're on the 2-yard line. If you didn't get Derrick Henry to get you 2 yards, why'd you draft him?
Here's the point. They made so many mistakes in that game that it was like Buffalo was supposed to win. The fact that Baltimore was still there in the end was amazing, because they should have been lost that game. They should have been lost that game.
Yes, Vrabel was the one that went into those Patriots.
Sometimes in football, when you make enough mistakes, the house is going to win, dog.
Yeah, you do. And I'm about to tell you the saddest thing. As a coach, you know when it starts to set in, oh, this is one of them days.
You know when the house is against you. What I'm talking about, it's like when you betting and winning too much. When you betting and winning too much. You know at some point this shit's gonna turn. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna win forever. You know
I've been in games and I watch fumble, touchdown, interception, touchdown, fumble, and I'm like, it's over, bro. Like, we can't get right today. And I had the better team. I've watched that. I've watched myself go down in a regional championship with the better team from just fumble on the ground, quarterback taking knee, picking it up. All right, it's time to end the stream. My bad, y'all. I kicked the computer. Did Tito go off? Oh, anyway. All right, it's your boy PH the Prez, Mr. Above 140. We out. Peace. All right, we got a fun-filled show tonight.
I met a boy today.
It's your boy, Coach Career, the General. A60 Army.
She She loving my style every time I'm
You ain't need more money, Tito. You could have just invited 6 or 8 you down to nationals.
I'm around. She caught me
When certain people don't get their way or they feel slighted, they feel like they have a right to call us and voice their opinion. You don't.
The hood, we locked the
Clear. I've never removed a staff to allow a staff to move up.
No,
Never.
that's not what I'm saying. Now everybody's a personal trainer. We know who the originals are, but now if you look, you can find them in every town.